अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तेन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर जोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। तीन भुवन में सार वीतराग विज्ञानता शिव स्वरूप शिवकार नमो त्रियोग समारी के। पंडित दौलत राम जी छा डाला। Last week we had completed the third dhal and we had done an introduction on the fourth dhal, and we had discussed the difference between right belief and right knowledge. So I had shared the Hindi version yesterday, and today I have shared the manual differences between the two. Now, if somebody is good at DTP, he can put it in a PDF format. So it will be easy for everybody to read. Otherwise, this is good. You can refer this, and if you have any doubts about the last discussion that we had on the difference, then I will again discuss. Otherwise, we will move on to the fourth dhal. So no questions. So we'll move on to the reading of the fourth dhal. I can make you a co-host, Roshni. You can share the PDF.
Sir, I joined from my work computer and we're not allowed to upload PDFs.
Okay, fine. Then Himali, I'll make you a co-host, okay.
Sorry, sir.
I'm making you a co-host.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yes. So she will be sharing the textbook and then we'll go. So fourth dhala, nature of right knowledge and partial right conduct. So far the story was that in the first dhal, we discussed the sufferings of the soul in the four states of existence. Then in the second dhal, we discuss the causes of those sorrows that the soul has been suffering in the four states of existence. And the causes were mithya darshan, mithya gyan, mithya charitra. False belief, false knowledge, and false conduct. And in that we discussed inborn and acquired. Okay. Now, then in the third dhal, we discussed what are the right ways to overcome these three: false belief, false knowledge, and false conduct. So the solution that was offered was right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. So the discussion started on the right belief, and that we completed in the third dhal. Now today we are going to discuss the right knowledge initially, and then the right conduct. And under right conduct, we are going to discuss from the perspective of an householder and then from the perspective of a monk. So from the perspective of a householder, that we will begin in this dhal only, and we will be discussing the 12 woes of a householder. We have already studied this in Vitrag Vigyan 3, chapter 6. But again, we will be discussing here in short. And then we move on to the fifth dal, which is about the 12 reflections, Bara Bhavna. So that also we have studied at 2 places earlier, but again it will be a repetition. And then coming up into the paper 3, we have one full paper on Bara Bhavna. So we are going to discuss 12 reflections in detail in the next paper. But having said that, we will be reading the 5th chapter also. And then in the 6th chapter, the conduct of a monk, that has been explained very vividly. And with that, this scripture of Chardala ends. Okay. So first of all, nature of right knowledge. So last week discussed the difference between right belief and right knowledge, their function, their characteristics, what are the comes affecting in, when are they going to be completed. All these discussions we had done, and I have shared the handwritten chart also. So you can refer that, and if you have any questions regarding that, you can ask me anytime personally. Today we are going to start with this characteristics of right faith. In between there is a stanza on the difference between the right knowledge and right faith. That is the stanza number 2. So again at that point of time we will touch that chart again. But now the introduction of the characteristics of right faith. Okay. So we are referring to the textbook now. Yeah. Madhuji, you read the first one.
What's the page?
Page number 76. It's on the screen also. You can see from the screen.
Yeah, just a minute, sir.
Can you enlarge a bit, Himali? I think there is scope for. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir.
Fourth dhala, nature of right knowledge and partial right conduct.
Right.
Samyak characteristics of right faith. Doha. Samyak Shraddha, Dhar Puni, Sevahu, Samyak Gyan, Swapar, Arth Bahu, Dharmajut, Jo Pragatavan, Pragatavan Bhan. The true
Praktavan Bhan.
Jo Pragatavan Bhan. Yes, sir. True faith leads to right knowledge. As the sun illuminates self and others, the right knowledge knows the self and the alien substances with their attributes. I'll continue, sir.
So it is characteristics of right knowledge. Okay. And not faith. So there is a correction that you have to do at the heading. It is the characteristics of right knowledge, not right faith, because faith we already discussed. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll read further, sir.
No, let me explain this.
Yeah,
True
yes.
faith leads to right knowledge. So all the work that we do in terms of in the path of liberation, everything is done in right faith, right knowledge only. Okay. It is the knowledge that we need to correct, because we are knowing the wrong things. So we have to get into the study where we are getting the right knowledge. Okay. So everything happens in the knowledge itself, but the path of liberation begins with right faith or right belief. So right knowledge or the knowledge general, not now the right knowledge will be the name given to it when we manifest right belief. Okay. But although in that false knowledge only, the correct understanding starts. Okay. So when the belief turns right, then only the knowledge is said to be right. Before that, it's only a false knowledge. But having said that, that false knowledge only, it has the capacity to transform, it has the capacity to understand correctly, and it gives us the subject to take a decision. So all this work happen in knowledge only. And when knowledge highlights something, then the faith accepts it. Okay. And when the faith accepts it, then the right faith involves in the first place and then follows the right knowledge and right conduct. Although both evolves simultaneously, but right faith is the cause of right knowledge. So right faith is the cause and right knowledge is the effect. Okay. So true faith leads to right knowledge. So once the faith changes, the knowledge also changes. As the sun illuminates self and others, the right knowledge knows the self and the alien substances with their attributes. Okay. So the main attribute of right knowledge, the main function of the right knowledge is to differentiate between the self and the non-self. Swa par. Okay. Swa is self and par is non-self or the others. Okay. So the main characteristics of the right knowledge is to know swa and par, self and non-self, separately. As the sun illuminates self and others, similarly, right knowledge has the capacity to know the self and the alien substance. No other attributes has this capacity to know the self and the others. It is only the knowledge attribute that is doing the job of knowing. Okay. So this is the main characteristics of the right knowledge. Now the stanza number 2, difference
Yes.
between the right knowledge and right faith. Okay. So now
Yes.
we will be discussing that chart also if you have any doubt. Otherwise, we will move on to the third one. So first we will read the stanza and then the explanation, and then we will come to the chart. Okay. I will just let you know the tone for this stanza.
Yes, sir.
Samyak sathe gyan hoy. No, it's not like that. Let me see. सम्यक साथे ज्ञान होई पे भिन्न आराधो लक्षण श्रद्धा जानी धुन में भेद अबाधो सम्यक कारण जानी ज्ञान कारज है सोई युगपति होते भी प्रकाश दीपक ते होई. So
I'll
now,
read.
yeah,
Yes.
Jia, you do it.
Yes, sir.
You can do the direct explanation also because I've already read the.
Even though the right knowledge and the right faith manifest simultaneously, they are both different because they are the modes of different attributes. Right faith is the modification of the pure faith attribute, and the right knowledge is the modification of the pure right knowledge attribute. Right faith means faith in the seven elements without any contrary opinions. Right knowledge means to have the right knowledge of self and alien substances without any indecision, sanshaya, erroneous cognition, viparya, and inconclusiveness, anadhyavasaya. The right knowledge is the principal action, naimittik karya, for which the right faith is the auxiliary cause, nimit karan. Therefore, from the perspective of cause and action relationship, they both are different. When there is right faith, then the right knowledge occurs. Therefore, the right faith is known as the cause for the right knowledge. When there is lamp, there is light. In the same manner, when there is right faith, then there is right knowledge.
So now we will refer to the chart. Okay. So you see the basis of difference. First column says about the basis of difference, and then the next column is about the right belief and then the right knowledge. So first is the of basis of difference is attribute. Both attributes are different. Right belief belongs to the faith attribute and right knowledge belongs to the knowledge attribute. So both are different in attributes. Then characteristics. Belief in the true nature of reality without false faith. Okay. Belief in the true nature of reality. Reality means the 7 fundamentals. Okay. Without false faith. Now, in terms of right knowledge, so right knowledge should be devoid of 3 flaws. What are these 3 flaws? Doubt, erroneous cognition, and inconclusiveness. In Hindi, we call it sanshay, vibram, and anadyavasai. Anadyavasai is indecision. So we have already studied in the chapter in, I think, Upyog. Okay. But still, you will have to again revise that. Doubt is means whether this is this or that. You are in a dilemma. You have not taken the decision, but you are still in a dilemma. Then the next is erroneous cognition. Here you have taken a decision and you have taken a wrong decision. So it was, I think, if in the same example, and like there was what object? Pen or pencil. Okay. So when you were in doubt, you were just not able to decide whether it is pen or pencil. But it was pen and you have taken a decision that it is pencil. So this is vibram, erroneous cognition. And the third one is inconclusiveness. So you are not able to take a decision whether it is a pen or it is a pencil. So then it is called inconclusiveness. You are not interested to take the decision whether it is this or that. Okay. So out of these 3, the one who is still in doubt has the chance to take the correct decision, but the other 2 don't have the chance to take the correct decision. So the right knowledge will always be devoid of these 3 things. If these 3 things are there, then the right knowledge does not evolve. The third basis of difference is function. So the job of the right belief is to take you into the path of liberation. The path of liberation gets initiated only with the right belief. And what is the function of then right knowledge? Remove obstacles caused by ignorance on the path of liberation. Okay. So now you have the right faith and the right knowledge. But what right knowledge helps us in? It helps us in to remove the obstacles that comes in between in the path of liberation. So every time you have a problem, the right knowledge would solve that problem. Okay. That's how the path of liberation gets ahead. What is the relationship between the 2? The right belief is the cause and right knowledge is its effect. Okay. Why it is cause and effect? Because the example given here is the lamp and the light. Okay. So first the lamp has to be there, then only the light can evolve. No lamp, no light. So lamp is the cause and light is its effect. What is its nature? To believe in self. So every moment this attribute of belief is manifesting. Okay. And in belief, there is no 50%, 50%. It is 100% this or 100% that. Okay. Either I am soul or I am body. I cannot be 50% soul and 50% body. Okay. So either I am soul or I am body. So to believe in self, to believe in that I am the soul is the nature of the right belief. Okay. And what is the nature of right knowledge? To highlight something and to discard something. So something is very prominent and primary and the other things are secondary at that point of time. They are not being removed completely. It is there, but we are not focusing on that. we are focusing on the primary thing. Okay, mukhya and gaun. So under this right knowledge, we apply the two tools that we use to know the 7 fundamentals. One is the viewpoint, Nay, and the other is comprehensive knowledge, Praman. Okay. So viewpoint are always like that. They highlight one aspect of the substance, and all the other aspects are being ignored at that point of time. Okay. So this is how the viewpoint operates. And as far as comprehensive knowledge is concerned, you are knowing all the things together without ignoring anything. You are knowing all the things together. So substance is also prominent, attributes is also prominent, modification is also prominent. Okay. Nothing is being ignored. That is called comprehensive knowledge. And from comprehensive knowledge, you have to apply the viewpoint. Either you can highlight the substance, or you can highlight the modification, as the case may be. Okay. So if you want to realize yourself, you have to highlight the substance part of the substance. If you want to see your faults or weakness, then you have to highlight the modification part of the substance. So this is how you know everything through viewpoints. And once you know it, then you are able to arrive at a correct decision. Okay. What are the related karmas? So faith deluding karma is related to right belief. So when you are eliminating the faith deluding karma, that is the time you develop right belief. And of course, against right knowledge is the knowledge obscuring karma, jnana varana karma. What are the how many types of right beliefs are there? There are 3 types of right belief: opshamik, shayopshamik, and shaik. Subsidential, destructional come subsidential, that is shayopshamik, and then shaik, that is destructional. And in terms of knowledge, there are 5 types: sensory, scriptural, clairvoyance, telepathy, and omniscience. Now, after knowing the 7 fundamentals, we had practiced what is worth adapting and what is worth renouncing. So that is discussed here in the terms of desirable and undesirable. So in terms of right belief, what is desirable? Worth taking shelter in self-serve. So after doing all the exercises, we want to evolve our right belief. So we have to take shelter in our self-soul. Okay. Now, what is undesirable in right belief? Not to lose faith. Once you have developed the faith, it is your duty to keep it on a continuous basis and not to lose that faith. If you lose that faith, then where you will end up, Jia? Once you have developed the right faith and now you lose that right faith, then what happens? You come back to the first stage, that is delusion, mithyatva. Okay. Now, in terms of right knowledge, what is desirable? The one that you are highlighting is always a desirable, and the others that are being ignored are secondary. When does the attribute of right belief gets completed? Okay. So it could get complete in the 4th stage itself, that is Shaik Samyak Drashti. Okay. Like in the case of Shrenik Raja, he manifested complete right belief in the 4th stage. Now there is one condition to get that in 4th stage, and that condition is that it could only be manifested in the presence of an omniscient being. So Srinik Maharaja went into the Samosaran of Tirthankar Mahavir and manifested this destructional right belief, Shaik Samyak Darshan. Okay. So it could happen in the 4th stage, or it could happen between 4th to 7th stage. Okay. Uh, uh, Now, the right knowledge, when it gets completed, on the 13th stage of spiritual development. Okay, not earlier than that. In the 12th stage, you manifest complete passionlessness, and in the 13th stage, you manifest the completeness of the knowledge attribute. Okay, so these are the differences. You have got a now fair idea of the differences. We have discussed more than what is given in the textbook for your better understanding. Now, if
Sir,
somebody is
I-
able to, somebody is able to make a PD DTP of this, then it will be fine. Otherwise, this is good. Yeah, but you were asking anything, Madhuji?
यस सर, ये
Yeah.
तो फिर ये जो 13 स्टेज है और 14 स्टेज उसमें टाइम कम रहता है ना सर?
13th stage is also within 48 minutes, and 14th stage, so just 5 letters. You pronounce 5 letters and it's gone. You get liberated.
अच्छा 40 अच्छा
A, E, Ru, Lu. These are the 5 letters that you
हाँ
spell out there, and the 14th stage comes to an end, and you get liberated.
लिबरेट यस
Hmm.
ठीक, थैंक यू सर.
Now, the types of right knowledge, we already discussed that there are 5 kinds of right knowledge, and that is coming for discussion in the stanza number 3. Hemali.
Sir, for right belief,
Huh.
when somebody gets to 7th stage, do
Hmm.
they fall all the way back to the first state, or do they go to
See,
6th?
up to 4 to 7, this Sayapshamik Samyak Darshan, the Sayapshamik Samyak Darshan is up to 7th stage only. It doesn't go beyond 7th, okay? So when you come to the 8th stage, either it is Opshamic or Shaik. Opshamic is subsidential and Shaik is destructional, okay? So these two are only going ahead from 8th onwards. So this Sayapshamik is between 4th to 7th.
Mm.
Okay, and there is a limitation in this Sayapshamik Samyak Darshan. It is having 3 kinds of blemishes: Chal, Mal, Agad, Dosh. Okay, so the faith keeps on deviating, it keeps on deviating. It is not stable. Okay, so your faith about the 7 fundamentals, your faith about the true God, true scriptures, and true monks, this keeps on fluctuating because of Shayopshamik Samyak Darshan. Okay, Opshamik and Shaik are Nirmal Samyak Darshan. These 3 blemishes are not there while you are in Opshamik or you are in Shaik. Okay, but Opshamik, the maximum time that you can stay in Opshamik is 48 minutes. So then it has to get converted. So if somebody is a right believer right now, he will be only the subsidential cum destructional right believer. Okay, Shayopshamik Samyak Drashti. And so this carries these 3 kinds of blemishes, the fluctuating faith, it's the Chal, Mal, Agad, Dosh. So someday we will discuss that also when we read Tatvat Sutra. But for now, this is it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? We can still move. Okay. So third stanza, you carry on, Hemali.
सर एक मिनट, ये जो फ्लक्चुएट होता है अपना तो ये राइट बिलीफ, ये कर्म की वजह से भी होता है क्या सर?
हाँ, वो शायपशमिक है ना सम्यक दर्शन, तो कर्म का
हाँ
उदय ही ऐसा है कि फ्लक्चुएट होता है, मीन्स इट डजंट मीन दैट it gets into the wrong knowledge again. Okay, it doesn't mean that fluctuation. The belief keeps on fluctuating, although it is right belief all the time. Okay,
जी
it is not that it comes into the wrong and then goes to right. No, fluctuation in that maintaining the right belief, maintaining the threshold limit of right belief, it keeps on deviating. I would say deviating, not fluctuating, but it keeps on deviating. So this is something that you have to carry through, because this is Sayapshamik Samyak Darshan.
ये मतलब वेवरिंग होता है क्या एक्चुअली?
हाँ, वेवरिंग.
हाँ, तो मैंने वेवरिंग एक एग्जांपल सर दे सकेंगे क्या? जैसे क्या हो सकता है? या आगे पढ़ेंगे इसके बारे में?
Can I give?
Example like
Sir, can I give? You tell if this is wrong or not.
yeah, tell me.
So, for instance, like we are vegetarian and we are Jains. So there
Right.
are non-veg people who will always tell कि आपके घास फूस में कोई ताकत नहीं है. You know, you should at least start eating eggs or whatever. You know, this is something which constantly. But it is your right belief कि नहीं, this is what is the right thing to do. Is that a right example?
No. Now, if you want to consider this example, then if he says no, इसमें ताकत नहीं है, तो हाँ, you will say हाँ. So this is the fluctuations. You know, this is the deviation. So you know that it doesn't matter whether you eat non-veg or veg. The strength has no relation to that. But still, sometimes you come into their talks. You know.
Correct.
So that is like, so you have done a pratishtha of a pratima in your Jain temple, and now somebody is visiting your place and you take him to mandir to show the temple, and while you are in temple you tell him that we have done the pratishtha of this deity, you know. So right believer knows that there is nothing called mine, but still he says in that way that this is, we have done it. Okay, so these kind of minor deviations could happen. Okay, so sometimes, you know, like the examples given over there are I'll just check which it is
नहीं,
not,
मेरे को हाँ
it is
समझ
not
में तो
exactly in Tattvad Sutra, but it is in the commentary of Tattvad Sutra. So if I get a English version of that, otherwise I will share the Hindi part, so you can always read that. Okay, so I'll share it. It's
yes
one page.
या कैन आई आस्क यू वन क्वेश्चन सर? तो
Mhm.
ये मोस्टली क्या, जब अपन है ना वी आर इन द सोसाइटी, दिस माइट हैपन बिकॉज ऑफ प्राइड, बट घर में तो इतना नहीं होता होगा. आई दैट इज व्हाट आई फील.
Hmm.
ऐसा है क्या सर?
See, like
हाँ
there is nothing, it's all related. It's just that only the omniscience can know that fluctuations, you know. We are not, we don't have the
रियलाइजिंग.
capacity to realize that. Okay, so there is
अच्छा
nothing more that we should think about this. It's just that it is not the pure right belief as in the case of the subsidential or destructional right belief. That is the only difference. So like Ramchandra ji, you know, Ramchandra ji was a Shaikh Samyak Drashti, and still he carried the dead body of Lakshman for 6 months.
यस यस.
Why? So, of course, he was a right, he was a he was a destructional right believer. Still, similar kind of faults can appear.
कर्म का उदय, इसका
It is
मतलब
because of the
हाँ
karma ka uday
कर्म
only.
उदय, राइट
Yeah.
राइट.
Because
Yes.
the belief is of because of that karma ka uday, right?
या यस सर. थैंक यू.
Stanza 3.
Types of right knowledge. तासु भेद दो है, परोक्ष परोक्ष तिन माही, मति श्रुत दो परोक्ष अक्षमन ते उपजाही. अवधि ज्ञान मना पर ये है दर्शन प्रत्यक्षा. द्रव्य क्षेत्र प्रमाण लिए, जाने जिए स्वक्षा.
So you can see the chart. From the chart also you can make out, we will understand here. So this right knowledge is of two types, direct and indirect. Direct is pratyaksh and indirect is paroksh. So the sensory knowledge and scriptural knowledge are a division of indirect knowledge, because here we use the 5 senses and the mind as a medium. Okay, so it is always indirect. But the direct knowledge is that is coming from the space points of soul, and there are two divisions. One is partial direct knowledge, and the other one is perfect direct knowledge. Okay, so clairvoyance and telepathy knowledge. Okay, these two are part of partial direct knowledge, and the omniscient knowledge is the perfect direct knowledge. Okay, so this is the, from the chart only we can make out. Now you read the explanation.
Right knowledge can be divided into two groups, direct and indirect. The cognitive knowledge, which is Mati Gyan, and articulate knowledge, which is Shuddh Gyan, are indirect because they are acquired with the help of sense organs and the mind. Right knowledge of cognitive and the articulate, which is scriptural knowledge, are direct at the time of the self-realization because at that time the sense organs and the mind are not the instrumental cause. Clairvoyance and telepathic knowledge are partially direct because the soul can have partial knowledge of the matter in the form of their substance, which is Dravya, area, which is Kshetra, modes, which is Kal, and the attributes, which is Bhav.
So one more thing, that at the time of self-realization, when you are experiencing yourself, then it becomes a direct. So right knowledge of cognitive and the articulate, that is sensory and scriptural knowledge, are direct at the time of the self-realization. Because when you are doing the experience, the self-realization, at that point of time, you are not taking any help from the senses and the mind. Senses never helps in the knowing the soul, but mind is indirectly involved. But at the time of self-realization, the function of mind also ceases. Okay, so it's just a direct contact. Okay, so at the time of realization, this scriptural knowledge and the sensory knowledge becomes direct, and that experience is the feeling that you are experiencing at that point of time. Okay, so this is something.
So it is bliss, sir, at that time, na?
Pardon?
Bliss रहेगा ना, sir?
क्या हो जाएगा?
At that moment, it is bliss.
Yeah, you are experiencing the bliss. In
Right.
terms of feeling, you are only experiencing the bliss,
Bliss.
and that is called Swasamvedan Pratyaksh. So from the point of feeling, it is direct, and not from knowing it is direct. Okay, it's not
Sir,
knowing
ये
the soul,
हाँ,
it is
हाँ,
just experiencing the soul. So in terms
right,
of
right.
experience, it is direct. Now
सर
clear?
थोड़ा सा आई एम इंक्विजिटिव, ये क्या प्रत्यक्ष उनके आंख के सामने उनको दिखता, मे बी इट्स नॉट शोइंग एज अ पिक्चर, लेकिन उनके आंख के सामने दिखता है क्या, ऐसा
नहीं
कुछ है
नहीं
क्या?
दिखता है, because कि you
हाँ,
cannot know the soul through eyes. It's not a
हाँ,
matter
अच्छा
substance.
सेंसरी, हाँ,
Only
एज यू
through
सेड
eyes,
सेंसरी,
only through eyes you can see the matter substance. Okay.
हाँ हाँ
So
हाँ
five
हाँ,
senses never helps in knowing the soul.
या एज यू
Only
सेड,
you can take the help of mind as an instrumental cause, but while
हाँ,
experiencing, the function of the mind also ceases. Okay. So the experience is direct eternal bliss. You are experiencing direct eternal bliss, and you have this checking point that you are experiencing the direct eternal bliss. And the other thing is that what I was about to tell you. That experience of direct eternal bliss is unperturbed. So we have
राइट,
also experienced bliss from sensory objects, right? But
राइट,
that is along with anxiety, right? That is along with perturbedness. And this eternal bliss is without perturbedness. So that is the only difference. Okay. So this is the bliss that we have never experienced before. So that is the eternal bliss. Okay.
सो ये जो पर्टर्बनेस है,
हाँ, आकुलता.
हाँ वो तो हाँ आकुलता, तो ये पर्टर्बनेस ये इसलिए है कि इट विल नॉट स्टे फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम, इसलिए?
No, see, perturbedness is not the right. It is not the right eternal bliss, right? Perturbedness is only there when it is a sensory bliss. So sensory bliss is not the true bliss.
Yes.
right? But we
Huh.
perceive it to be a true bliss, but in reality, it is not a true bliss,
Huh.
because you can see that the attribute of bliss is an attribute of the soul. So how can
Hmm.
that attribute of bliss can come from TV, from music, from eating good food, from
Huh.
touching good things? How
Huh.
can it come when it does not exist over there?
Hmm.
Okay. So
Huh.
we are all under illusion when we are experiencing the five sensory organs object. Okay.
Hmm.
And we
Hmm.
believe that we are happy because of that. So that is
Hmm.
the wrong belief. So now
Yeah.
you know that there is no attribute of bliss or happiness in those
All
sensory
this.
objects, right?
Right.
So now
Right.
you know. So now you know the difference, what is eternal bliss and what is the sensory bliss.
Hmm.
So sensory
Hmm.
bliss is with perturbedness, and the eternal bliss is without perturbedness. That is
Yes.
the difference.
Yes. Got it.
Hmm.
Thank you.
I
Hmm.
have a question.
Yeah.
So when we are talking of, bliss and we're talking of meditation, so is there any scripture that we will read as to what happens when you meditate? Like, for instance, as Madhuji asked, कि ये आंखों के सामने होता है. So I have been trying to meditate
Hmm.
and I don't know where to concentrate. I mean, the other day
Yeah, yeah,
we should
yeah,
not be
yeah.
concentrating on our
Very good question and very practical question, and that also shows that you have tried. So the thing is that, okay, first you have to decide on what you want to meditate, right? So in our community, we never have shibir of meditations. Why? Because our Acharya says, first you decide on the object where you want to meditate. Okay. So I'll give you an example. A boy and a girl, both aged around 25. Okay. Going to the temple, and they cross each other every day. Okay. But they don't have any feelings for each other. Right. It's just become an object. And somebody asks him that you meditate on your fiancé. He will be able to do it because he has not decided. Okay. Now you get them engaged and you tell them not to meditate on your fiancé. But still, whatever he does while eating, going, taking bath, every moment he has got in his mind his fiancé's image. So this is meditation. You don't have to do it, it automatically happens. So our all effort, all energy would be into fixing the object. Okay. So first you fix the object on what you want to meditate. Okay. So we have now established that object as our soul. So now we are knowing the soul's different attributes, that it is always pure, it is independent, it has got infinite attributes in it, it is always, it never gets influenced by any outside noises, aprabhavi, mukta, shuddha, it is always pure, right? All these adjectives that you have put on the soul, right? So you have created an image of soul in your knowledge, right? Now you keep on developing that image as you read further Jinwani every day. Okay. Oh, soul is like this. Oh, soul is like this. It doesn't change. It doesn't get affected. It is the same as it was in hell. Yeah, same. So all this is evolving your right belief about the soul. You are knowing the soul through scriptures, and you are changing your perception about the soul every time you read it. Oh, this is like that. Oh, this is like that. This doesn't affect me. Whatever the situations outside, it doesn't affect the soul. No. If you are having a cancer in your body, does it affect the soul? No. Right? So all these is working on your belief system. Okay. So whatever we read, we extract the belief part out of it about the soul. So the image of soul is gradually emerging in your knowledge attribute. Okay, knowledge modification. Okay, and now when you start meditating, you try to focus on that. Okay, although there will be thoughts coming that I am pure, I have the potential of omniscience. Okay, I am unaffected, I'm always unaffected, then I am always independent, I'm not dependent on anything, I am a mass of infinite attributes, right? All these you practice while meditating. Okay, and someday in practice of meditation only, the right faith will evolve, and that is the time you are experiencing yourself. So you have made a certain image about your soul. Okay, and whatever you have learned in terms of thoughts, that will match when you experiencing the real soul. All these will match. So when it matches, your belief evolves, and that is right belief. This we will study in Rahasyapurn Chitti and in Samay Sar. Two places we will read this again, and if you want to understand that, I will share the Moksha Marg Prakashak, only one paragraph. Todarmalji has explained the whole process of self-realization. Okay, so from there you can have an idea, but we will discuss at length when we come to that. But I have
Me too.
explained you everything how it's going to happen. So people do generally in meditation of other faiths that you concentrate on your respiration, all these. So that is not true meditation. True meditation is you have to focus on the soul. You have to realize yourself. So as a practice, we can all do. It's good. But the real meditation is only evolves when you experience yourself. Okay. Now stanza number 4.
सर एक मिनट और सो ये तो निष्कर्ष यही निकला कि जो भी हो रहा है बिल्कुल भी मतलब स्लोली यू हैव टू गेट अनअफेक्टेड जो भी हो रहा है
your nature is like that. You establish oneness in that nature of the soul. You are the soul, and the nature of the soul you are understanding through scriptures. So you have to somewhere converge into that image that I am the pure soul. So if I am the pure soul, how does it affect me? If anything is happening in the body, if somebody is abusing me, he's not abusing me. He's abusing the body that I represent, right? And I'm not that body. So how does it affect me? So this way you have to practice the science of discrimination. It's like in a movie, there is a double role, Sita and Gita. So same character is playing two roles. So here we are also having that double character. One is the body and the persona that is we look at outside from, and the other is our pure soul, which is always unchangeable, which is always devoid of any blemishes, which is full of mass of infinite attributes, which is complete in itself, which is pure in itself. Okay, so all these will help you to create an image of yours in your knowledge attribute, and then someday it will come into experience. Okay. So never settle for anything else in terms of meditation of the object. The object should be our soul only, and we are knowing the soul through different scriptures. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good. So both of you are asking very good questions, and Madhuji particular is very, very sharp on what she wants to do. So every time some discussion comes on that level, she is very eager to ask questions, and that is very good. I appreciate that.
ये इंटरेस्ट तभी जागा जब ज्वाइन किए हैं सर.
Yes.
And we are free to ask you questions. That is like
definitely. And I also
इसलिए और बढ़ रहा है मतलब इसीलिए ये चीज बढ़ रही है कि I can ask you whatever I want.
Yes, definitely.
In this regard.
Definitely. Yes. Okay. So now the fourth stanza, and Payal, you read the fourth one.
In nature of the perfect perception and the importance of the right knowledge. सकल द्रव्य के गुण अनंत पर्याय अनंता जाने एक काल प्रकट केवल भगवंता ज्ञान समान न आन जागत में सुख को कारण यह परमामृत जन्म यह परमामृत जन्म जरा मृत रोग निवारण. The knowledge which can directly know the past, present, and future of all substances of the universe, with their infinite attributes and their modes in one smallest unit of time, is known as omniscient knowledge and perception. In this transmigratory life, right knowledge is unique and blissful. It is like supreme nectar in removing the misery of life, aging, and death.
So omniscience knowledge, that it knows all the things of the past, present, and future with all its substance, attributes, modifications, everything, okay, in one moment, simultaneously. So that is omniscient knowledge has been explained. Now, in this transmigratory life, where we are wandering from one species to another species, from one state of existence to the another states of existence since time immemorial, right knowledge is unique. We have never manifested right knowledge. Okay. So right knowledge, along with right knowledge comes the bliss. Okay. So right knowledge and bliss are both together always. It may not happen that you have manifested the right knowledge and you have not experienced the bliss. Okay. So these are together always, the right knowledge and the bliss. So the moment you manifest right knowledge, the same moment you experience the right bliss, eternal bliss. It is like supreme nectar in removing the misery of life. Okay. So now we are developing our army, the army of right belief and right knowledge and following up with right conduct. These are the three main warrior, which is going to destroy all the karmas that we have bound since time immemorial. Just imagine, you are there since time immemorial, and in this birth, with little bit of study, we are not putting studies for 12 hours or 18 hours a day, as you have done while pursuing your career, MBA, CA, engineering, whatever you have done, right? We have put in that much of effort at that point of time. We are not putting that much of time right now. Still, we will be able to manifest the path of liberation for us and destroy all the karmas in very few span of time, very little span of time. Isn't it surprising? Since time immemorial, we have been binding karmas, right? And now, with this little bit of knowledge, we will be able to destroy all those karmas. Okay. So it is compared to a supreme nectar in removing the misery of life, aging and death. You will never take birth again. You will get liberated. Okay. So this is what the golden opportunity that we have got, that to remove these miseries of life once and forever. Everyone does, like if you are saving money for your retirement, that is only for this life. What about the next life? You don't carry anything from here to the next life. But this right knowledge is something that you are going to carry with you in the next birth also. And not only next birth, within 2-3 births, you will get liberated. There's such a thing in the present situation. It's very rare. So that is coming up. The discussion on that will come up. Now the stanza number 5 and Rekha, I'll just help you with the flow of that tone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
कोटि जन्म तप तपे ज्ञान बिन कर्म जरे जे ज्ञानी के चिन्ह में त्रिगुप्ति ते सहज टरे ते। मुनि व्रतधारी अनंत बार ग्रेवक उपजायो। पे निज आत्म ज्ञान बिना सुख लेश न पायो।
Yes. The difference between the karma removal process in the enlightened and the ignorant person.
Hmm. Hmm.
The ignorant person has no right knowledge, and as a result, the process of austerity performed by him is known as Baltap austerity with wrong knowledge. He may perform austerity for millions of life and cycles and can lose some of his karma, while the enlightened person with the right knowledge removes lot of karma in a moment through the restraints of the mind, speech, and body. The soul has taken birth in the nine neck dwelling celestial Navagravya realm infinite times as a result of accepting the five great vows in the form of a non enlightened ascetic with physical sign, Dravyalinga, without achieving spiritual bliss.
Hmm. So it's being compared that a ignorant person who has got no right knowledge. So they are showing you the importance of right knowledge. How important is right knowledge? A ignorant person with no right knowledge, and he is performing the penances since long time. And whatever karma he is able to destroy, that a right believer with right knowledge removes in a moment. So somebody is doing tap for millions of years and is able to destroy such karmas that you become a right believer and you can destroy in one moment. Okay, through the restraints of mind, speech, and body. Okay, this is called gupti, restraint of the mind, speech, and body. That means when you are meditating, we are concentrating on the self. There is nothing evolving. You are not. Uh, you are not doing any action through body. You are not talking any words through your speech. And in the mind, no thoughts are getting arised. Okay. So this is the stage of equanimity. Okay. You are fully concentrating on the soul. And while you are experiencing the soul, nothing comes up. And that is called the restraints of the mind, speech, and body. So with one moment, you can offload so much of karmas that a person without right knowledge does in millions of years. Okay. So this is the first part. The second part, the soul has taken birth in the nine neck, Naumi Gravak. So above the 16 heavens, there is this nine Gravaks. Okay. And a person with wrong knowledge, okay, sheer on the basis of the conduct that he is doing by becoming a monk, okay, and observing all the 28 main attributes of a monk, okay, still without right knowledge, he is getting birth in the ninth gravak. He can go up to the ninth gravak, that is nine neck dwelling celestial, okay, without, but he is not without right knowledge. So he is not enjoying the eternal bliss, okay, without achieving spiritual bliss. So what it shows, that with right knowledge, even if you are not a conduct, if you are not a monk, still you are able to experience the eternal bliss. But without right knowledge, even if you become a monk, and even if you um, minimize your passions to such level that you get a birth in the ninth gravak, still without right knowledge, you are not able to enjoy a moment of eternal bliss. Okay. So right knowledge is so much of importance that is being described here. Now in the next stanza,
Sir,
falls
एक
in,
मिनट सर
falls in
ये
the right knowledge. Yeah. Ask.
सर, ये नवग्रह की ये 9 ग्रह है ना सर? 9 ग्रह है ना ये?
नहीं, ग्रह नहीं है. दिस इज
ओहो,
अबाउट द 16 हेवंस. 16 स्वर्ग है. 16
हाँ हाँ
स्वर्ग के ऊपर 9 ग्रेवक है. एंड आउट above 9 ग्रेवक there is 5 अनुदिष्ट विमान, you know. So
हाँ हाँ,
all
जो
these yeah. And
ये रामायण में जो
about that anudist viman there
हम्म,
is Siddhsila, where
ये
when
जो रामायण में बताते हैं सर, दे हैव पर्टिकुलर मतलब टू मूव अबाउट दे हैव सम, क्या बताए थे, आई एम नॉट गेटिंग द वर्ड. दे मूव लाइक रावण एंड अदर celestial, मतलब not celestial beings. They used to move about in their what do you say,
विमान विमान
विमान विमान, right, yeah. तो जो ये जो विमान, I've got deviated.
Viman is associated with celestial beings only. Okay,
हाँ
celestial
हाँ
beings have Viman, but
हाँ
these they are showing here that by lessening the passion, you can get birth of a celestial being in the ninth gravak. But
अच्छा
without right knowledge, you are not able to experience the spiritual bliss for a moment. Okay. So you
yes,
have become a monk, you are observing the 28 attributes of a monk. Okay. But you are still a non-enlightened ascetic. Dravyalinga Muni. Okay. Dravyaling Muni means you are still a wrong believer. Okay. So
okay,
Dravyaling Muni could be of 3 types. Okay. It could be a wrong believer. It
हाँ
could be a right believer in the 4th stage, but still it will
right,
be considered as a Dravyalingi Muni. And
हाँ
still it could be in the 5th stage also. So Dravyalingi Muni is of 3 kinds. One is the false believer monk. The second
हाँ
is 4th stage monk. The third is 5th stage monk. So then what will be a true Muni? Okay. So a
हाँ
true monk would be a person devoid of 3 levels of passions. Okay.
हाँ हाँ
Anantanubandhi, Apratyakhyan and Pratyakhyan. Okay.
हाँ
So a monk in the 5th stage has renounced 2 levels of passion, Anantanubandhi and Apratyakhyan. But still he is having Pratyakhyan and Sanjwalan Kashai. So he is not a true monk. Okay. True
हाँ,
Bhavlingi monk. He is not a true Bhavlingi monk. Okay. So this
जी
is that you have you have taken a birth in the celestial being many times, but without the spiritual, without the right knowledge, you have not
knowledge,
experienced the spiritual bliss.
ठीक है, thank you sir.
So now we will be discussing the 3 faults that we discussed in the starting faults in the right knowledge.
So, may I ask a question?
Yes.
So you said that above these 16 heavens
Yes.
is the grave, the
Yes.
ninth gravak.
Yeah.
Over that is the place where these Vimans are.
Five Anudisht Viman. Okay.
So, is this the same thing where we had discussed that there are 3 kinds of celestial being, the one with Viman, with Bhavanpati, and the one with
No, so the three are at the lower category of celestial beings. Okay. So they don't come up here.
Okay.
Only the Vaimanik Dev are getting birth in the Swarg and above.
Okay. So in heavens below also there is Viman.
Viman.
This Vaimanik Dev and all those people.
Yeah, they have got, but it is not. So I think Vaimanik Dev. Yeah, in the 16 heavens also there is Vaimanik Dev. They are Vaimanik Dev only.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So anyone who is getting a birth in the 16 heavens is a Vaimanik Dev. And all the other 3, the Bhavanvasi, the Vyantar and the Jyotisi. So Jyotisi are stellar, Bhavanvasi are wandering heavenly beings, and they are also called peripatetic.
Yeah.
And the Bhavanvasi are the celestial being of dwelling, I think.
Yes.
Bhavanvasi.
Yes.
Yeah. So these three are lower category of heavenly beings, and only Vaimanik Dev is the upper category.
Okay, sir.
And they all land up in the heavens only.
Okay.
So who is next? I think Rekha, you have done, right?
But I had a question based on this passage.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
So can I ask?
Yeah.
So I had a question that within Jainism, some sects they propagate right conduct and like uh taking like monkhood and all of that, whereas ours propagates right knowledge. So overall, like what is like I know that this is beneficial what we do, but like to get rebirth in a Jain family or that what is more like preferential in that sense to get
Right belief and right knowledge is preferential, because without right belief and right knowledge, all your conduct is false conduct. So even if you become a monk, but you don't know where to concentrate on, where to meditate on, what is the use?
yeah.
Instead of that, you stay in home, study this, because when you become a monk, no, you have very limitations. Now I'm going to teach 3 sadhvis of Deravasi Jain. Okay. They are based now in Jogeshwari. So I go twice a week. And while during Chomasa, they are going to come in Borivali. So we will have sessions every day. And they are very curiosity to understand this true religion. And they are picking up also very fine. But they have got limitations. They cannot access to lectures, they cannot access to anything, PDF, nothing. They've got very limited access. So instead of becoming a monk, not in the true sense, it is better you become a good householder, practice this, understand this, and automatically the monkhood will come. Because monkhood is a byproduct. It is a byproduct of what? Your right belief and right knowledge. And with right belief and right knowledge, the conduct also follows. So in the 4th stage, you are eliminating the Anantanubandhi Kashai, the first quadruplet of passions. Okay. And in the 5th stage, you are getting rid of the Apratyakhyanavaran Kasai, the second quadruplet. And then in the 6th and 7th stage, you are getting rid of the third quadruplet of passions, the Pratyakhyana Kashai. Okay. So you work on this first, and automatically the monkhood will come.
No,
Right?
this question came about because like my friends who are part of other Jain sects, they do a lot of practices.
Yeah,
and
they all do a lot of tapasyas.
yeah.
They do a lot of upvas and mass command. So what is a real upvas? What is a real fasting? Okay. That you are not taking food. That is the third part. The first is Vishay Kashai. You are eliminating the engagement in sensual pleasures. The second part is you are eliminating the passions. And the third part is you are renouncing the food. Okay. Vishay Kashai Ahar. Ahar is the third part. Now, just foregoing the food, it's not a true pass. Upvas. Up means near. So take abode near your soul. So concentrate on your soul. So the real upvas would be concentrating on the soul the whole day, so that you don't even remember to take the food. Like as the kids play cricket and you call him that it's lunchtime, you come, and they're coming, and they keep on playing. Why? Because they are so much engrossed in that game, which they are really enjoying. And in that enjoyment, they forget to take the food, even though they are hungry, but they don't want to take the food. Why? Because they are enjoying there. So similarly, here you are enjoying the eternal bliss. And in that enjoyment, if even somebody afflicts a pain on you, you are not focusing on that, because you are busy in extracting the eternal bliss from your soul. So you already possess such things. Now we have to find a way to extract that. And the key is the right belief. Okay. Once you manifest the right belief, all the treasures that we have in our soul will come into the modification. It is now locked up because of our wrong belief, because of our ignorance. But each soul is capable of all the same things. Only thing is that they don't know, and we are working on this to unlock that thing, right? And once it gets unlocked, there will be a flood of eternal bliss in our experience. Okay, so this is the journey. Okay, so Roshni ji, you read the 6th one. I will help you with the Hindi part.
Okay.
ताते जिनवर कथित तत्व अभ्यास करीजे, संशय विभ्रम मोह त्यागी आपो लखी लीजे। यह मानुष पर जाय सुकुल सुनी वो जिन वाणी, यह विधि गए न मिले सुमणि जो उदधि समानी। So this picture, the last line, like if you lose this opportunity, you have already got a human life and Jain religion and everything, and if you don't listen to this Jinwani, then it is like if you lose a gem in the ocean, are you going to back that? Are going to get back that? Never, because you have thrown it in an ocean, right? If you would have thrown it in your room, you could still have found out, right? But you have thrown it in an ocean. The next page you can see the picture. Now it is not going to come back, right? So similarly, this human life is very rare to get. That is the second part. And first part is Tate Jinvar Katit Tattva Abhyas Karije. So you do the study of Jainism as the omniscient has preached us. Okay. So if you practice that discriminative knowledge, you will remove the doubts, the erroneous cognition, and the third one is inconclusiveness, the three blemishes of right knowledge. Okay, the three faults of right knowledge. So now you can read, Roshni.
Okay. Discriminative science or Ved Vigyan is important for one to understand the difference between soul and alien substances. This knowledge comes from deep study of the scriptures as preached by omniscient lords. This knowledge should be free from indecision or sanshay, erroneous cognition, viprai, and inconclusiveness, anadyavashai. The human life is very precious. It comes about very rarely. As a jewel thrown in the ocean is almost impossible to get back, the same is true for human life. The Jain family and opportunity to listen to the discourse of the omniscient Lord. Therefore, one should not waste a single precious moment of this human life. One must put all his personal efforts to obtain the right knowledge and make this life a success.
Very good. So discriminative science is important for one to understand the difference between the soul and the alien substance. This knowledge comes from the deep study of the scriptures. Now, what do you mean by the deep study of scriptures? Just reading it once? No, you have to read it again and again. And you have to contemplate. The best part would be to contemplate. Whatever you read, you contemplate. And whatever you contemplate, you arrive at a conclusion. Okay. So the three blemishes of the three faults of right knowledge. Okay. So you, first of all, knowledge comes from the deep study of the scriptures as preached by the omniscient lords. Okay. So this is what we have got already. Now your effort would be to go deep into this study. So Jia, you have to read 3 times. To go deep means to read at least 3 times. And then if you have any questions, you can ask in the class, or you can ask after the class anytime. Whenever it comes to your mind, you are always free to call me. Okay. If I'm on some class or into some important thing, I silent my phone. Okay. So you don't have to ask whether I should call. You can always call. You have liberty to call anytime. Okay. So usually I sleep by 10 p.m., 10:30. So before 10:30, you can ask me anytime, no problem. Even if I sleep early also, I just put the phone on silent. So don't worry. So you have to simply call if you have any questions. Okay. So this knowledge should be free from, here it is written indecision, but I think its doubt is more appropriate. Okay. Sanshay. Sanshay means you have some doubt, dilemma. Okay. Whether it is this or that. Then erroneous cognition, where you have already taken a wrong decision. And inconclusiveness is you are not able to arrive at a decision. You are least interested in deciding what it is. That is called inconclusiveness. Okay. Now the second part, the human life is very precious. It comes about very rarely. As the jewel thrown in the ocean is almost impossible to get back, the same is true for human life. The Jain family and opportunity to listen the discourse of the omniscient Lord, and you can add this Parmagam honors course. While I was looking for this kind of study, I never got a Parmagam honors course. I joined a course in Jaipur from Pandit Todarmal Smarak Trust, and it was only a corresponding course, no teachers, no class. They just used to send the question papers every 6 months, and we have to write the answers and send them back. Okay. This was our interaction, and I did that course for 5 years. And the time I completed this 5 years, I got an opportunity to teach in this Parmagam honors course. That was in 2016. Okay. So you are so fortunate to have this course. You have having a live class, proper question answers, systematic study. Above all, if you have any doubts in your mind, you can clarify, right? So all these are very rare to get, and this is what you have got. Therefore, one should not waste a single precious moment of this human life. Okay. One must put all his personal efforts to obtain the right knowledge and make this life a success. Okay. So this is all. Seventh stanza, glory of right knowledge, reason for right knowledge. Malti ji, you will be able to read the Hindi one, or you want me to read?
Okay, sir. धन समाज गज बाज राज तो काज न आवे, ज्ञान आपको रूप भयो धीरे अचल रहावे, आसु ज्ञान को कारण स्वपर विवेक बखानो, कोटि उपाय बनाए भवता को आनो. Wealth, family, servants, elephants, horses, and even the kingdom are of no use to the soul. Right knowledge is the true nature of the soul, and once obtained, stays with the soul forever. The reason for right knowledge is the discriminative science between the self and the alien substances. Therefore, the soul with the capacity for liberation, Bhavya Jeev, must put all his efforts into obtaining right knowledge with discriminative science.
So you see, only the right knowledge comes with the soul. Okay. Into the next birth. All these wealth, family, servants, all remains here. So this is the, they are glorifying the right knowledge. In the next paragraph, the reason for right knowledge is the discriminative science between the self and the alien substance. So you have to do deep study, and then only you can practice this discriminative science. Therefore, the soul with the capacity for liberation must put all his efforts into obtaining right knowledge with discriminative science. Now, the stanza number 8. Jia, again we are coming back to you. Glory of right knowledge and technique of stopping desires of the sense organs.
Sir, can you read the...
जे पूरब शिव गए जाहि अरु आगे जे, ते सब ज्ञान तनी महिमा मुनिनाथ कहे है, विषय चाह दव दाह जगत जन अरन दजावे, तास उपाय न आन ज्ञान गन गान उजावे.
The omniscient Lord says that right knowledge is the reason for any soul to obtain liberation in the past, present, from the area of Mahavidya and future. As the fire in the jungle burns everything to ashes, the fire of desire of the five sense organs burns the transmigratory soul and gives them intense misery. As the torrential rain extinguishes the fire, the right knowledge cools down the fire of desires and then destroys.
So all the souls who are going to liberation in the past, present, and the future, okay, that is because of the right knowledge, okay, right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct, okay. So this is only the way that you can get liberated, okay. So there is no other way. Even in the present state, from the Mahavidya Kshetra, people are still going to achieving liberation every moment, okay. Mahavidya Kshetra. As the fire in the jungle burns everything to ashes. So once if a fire gets caught in a forest, it's very, very difficult to uh, douse it. No? Why? Because it keeps on spreading. As the wind flows, it keeps on expanding, expanding. And there are in some areas near Brazil where the fires are still continuing. So it takes a torrential rain, copious rain, and a large amount of rain and continuously, that can only extinguish that fire of that forest. Similarly, the right knowledge cools down the fire of desires of sensual pleasures. Our most of the time is being wasted for sensual pleasures. You can say, no, how? So why you are going to office? To earn money. Why you want to earn money? To buy sensual objects. So I can satisfy my needs. So there is a necessity, like you need to have food, you need to place to live, you need clothes. So these are the basic necessities. But beyond that, we earn for satisfying our sensual needs, sensual pleasures. Okay. So this desire keeps on coming, coming, coming. There is no end to it. Only the right knowledge can cool down this fire of desires. Okay. It not only cools down, but it destroys, because it gives you this knowledge that there is no happiness over there. There is no happiness over there. Happiness is here. So why you are indulging in those sensual pleasures? Okay. So there will be a time lag between actually understanding it and putting into practice, because it does not come overnight. Okay. So even the right believer in the fourth stage, he is not able to renounce the sensual pleasures. Even in the fifth stage, he is partially renouncing, not completely renouncing. Only when you become a monk that you completely renounce the sensual pleasures. Okay. So this is something, but at a belief level, you can still understand that happiness does not lie there, because there is no attribute of my happiness in those objects. This is very simple to comprehend, right? So my happiness lies in my soul. So I have to concentrate, I have to focus on my soul to get that happiness. Okay, Jia? So if you are able to make a decision on this, automatically you will be motivated to study deep, you'll be motivated to meditate on the self, and everything will fall into places. Now the next stanza. Negation in the activities of auspicious and inauspicious deed. Okay. So most of the time in terms of religion, we want to get into auspicious deeds and not into inauspicious deeds. But that is not the true religion. Okay. So the true religion will only evolve when you focus on your soul. Okay. The meditation part that we discussed earlier today. Okay. So next will be Madhuji, ninth stanza.
Yes, yes, sir. Stanza
पुण्य
9.
पाप फल माहि हरक बिल खोमति भाई यह पुद्गल पर जाई उपजी बिन से थिर थाई लाख बात की बात यह निश्चय उर लाओ तोरी सकल जगदंद फंद नित आत्म ध्यावो.
Yes, sir. Negation in the activities of auspicious and inauspicious deeds. One who cares for the welfare of the soul knows that wealth, house, business, fame, and healthy body are the fruition of past auspicious deeds. He believes that the soul does not gain anything from these things and will not be unhappy upon losing the same. For him, the alien substances are always the object of the soul's knowledge and are separate from the soul. 1 minute, sir. For him, the alien substances are always the object of the soul's knowledge and are separate from the soul. Right. He does not believe these alien substances to be helpful or hurtful to the soul. He does not endure any pleasure or pain in the fruits of these auspicious or inauspicious alien substances. If the soul believes alien substances to be helpful or hurtful, he will definitely have likes and dislikes and sense of ownership towards them. He would also believe that the alien substances are the reason for his happiness and unhappiness. The person with right knowledge knows that this is a wrong belief. Therefore, he concentrates within and makes a firm decision about the true nature of the self and remains happy from within. The bondage of auspicious and inauspicious karma are the modes of matter particles. The perceived pleasure or pain occurring with the fruition of the karma is transient in nature. The essence of Jain philosophy says that the auspicious and inauspicious dispositions of the soul are the reason for transmigration of the soul in the universe. That is why one should give them up and get engrossed in the pure self by having right faith, knowledge, and conduct.
Hmm. So punya and pap, auspicious and inauspicious karma. Okay. So if you are manifesting, say, auspicious sentiments or inauspicious sentiments, in the both the cases you have to be neutral, right? So nothing increases in the soul when you are manifesting auspicious sentiments, and nothing decreases in the soul when you are manifesting inauspicious sentiment. Okay. So there is no profit or no loss in the soul when you are manifesting auspicious or inauspicious sentiments. Okay. So if you understand this, then you will understand that these are all part of matter substances. Okay. And their very nature is to evolve and extinct, evolve and extinct. Okay. So you cannot take any, you cannot take shelter into those things, because those are very temporary phenomena. It happens all the time. Okay. So there is nothing helpful or nothing hurtful in this auspicious and inauspicious substance. A person with right knowledge knows that uh, there is this is not the cause of our happiness and unhappiness. Therefore, he focuses to concentrate within himself and not on the auspicious and inauspicious sentiments. And he makes a firm decision about the true nature of the self and remains happy from within. The bondage of auspicious and inauspicious karmas are the modes of matter particles. Okay. The perceived pleasure or pain occurring with the fruits of the karma is transient in nature, temporary. Okay. The essence of Jain philosophy says that the auspicious and inauspicious disposition of the soul are the reason for the transmigration of the soul in the universe. Okay. लाख बात की बात यह है, निश्चय और लाओ, तोरी सकल जगदंद फंड नित आत्म ध्याओ. Okay. That is why one should give them up and get engrossed in the pure self by having right faith, knowledge, and conduct. So one should not feel satisfied with the only manifesting the auspicious sentiments. Now you are studying the scriptures. It is an auspicious sentiments. Okay. You are doing puja, you are going to the temple, you are attending the class, you are joining the Parmagam honors course. All these are auspicious sentiments. So you should not get satisfied by this only, but you should try to give up these auspicious and inauspicious sentiments and concentrate on the self, engrossed in the pure self. Okay. So this is the path of liberation. So we should not lose the focus. Okay. We should not get satisfied with getting into auspicious sentiments, because we have done this earlier infinite times. Okay. So this is, in this birth, we will take this decision that we will not be satisfied with the auspicious sentiments, and we will try to manifest the pure sentiments and take shelter in the self only. Okay. There is satisfaction over there. Now, the right belief is already over in the third dal. In the fourth dal, up to ninth stanza, the explanation on the right knowledge was done. Now from 10th stanza onwards, right conduct will start. So 10th to 17, it will all about right conduct. And you can see the chart, 12 conducts, different types of conducts. So there is one partial conduct, which is at a householder level, and the complete conduct, that what the monk does. Okay. So partial conduct is called ek desh, partial, and the complete conduct is sakal desh. So there are 12 vows: partial vows, anuvrat, supporting vows, gunvrat, and trainee vows, sikshavrat. So we have already done 12 vows of a householder. So we are not going to repeat this discussion, but still we will read it once. Okay. So what are the partial vows? Non-violence, truthfulness. Truthfulness, the spelling has to be corrected. Yeah, there is a typo mistake. Non-stealing, celibacy or chastity, then non-possessiveness. Supporting vows. So these supporting vows are for successful observation of partial vows. Okay. So supporting comes from geographic limitations in the 10 directions. You identify some areas, like in the north, I will not go beyond Kashmir. In the south, I will not go beyond Kanyakumari. In the west, I will not go beyond Gujarat. In the east, I will not go beyond Kolkata. Right? So now these are the limitations that you have set. So those limitations could be 10 height also, depth also, for this direction, east, west, north, south, and for diagonal directions like southeast, northeast, northwest, like that. Okay. Then this supporting direction. So first one is Digvrat, about the 10 directions. Now in this Digvrat, further you are limiting in terms of time, that you will not go maximum 1 month. You will go in the east, not beyond east, but up to this destination, and that also within month, within days, week. So you are further limiting your movement. Okay. So this will help you in concentrating on the self. The third one is purposeless violence limitation. Anarth dand tyag. Okay. So purposelessly we do evil thinking, up dhyan, then evil instruction, pap updesh. Okay. Careless dealing, pramacharya. Gifts of weapon of offense. We should never give a gift like giving a knife. So knife will be used to cut those plants and everything. Okay. So gifts of weapons of offense, then evil hearing. All these are purposeless violence limitation. So some are purposeful, which we cannot avoid at a householder level, but there are some discussions now. Who will win today, Mumbai or Delhi? So this is purposeless. And people spend hours and hours discussing politics, discussing cricket, discussing Bollywood. All these are not useful to us. We are only wasting our valuable time. Okay. So this purposeless violence limitations are a part of supporting woes. Now trainees woes.
But, sir, I have
Trainee,
a question.
yeah, just let me finish
The-
this woes and
okay,
then.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
these four
Sure.
trainee woes are a training given for you to become a monk. Okay. So first is the Samaik, equanimity. The second is ascetic hood exposure woe, proshadupvas. So in this, you take fast. Okay. These fastings are of three types. The higher level, the medium level, and the lower level. All these we have discussed in these 12 woes in Vitrag Vigyan 3, chapter number, I'll tell you, which was chapter number 6, most probably. Vitrag Vigyan 3, chapter 6. Okay. We have seen the Gyani Sravak ke 12 Vrat. Okay. So you can revise that chapter because that was more elaborate. Here only they have mentioned the names. Okay. So ascetic proshodupvas, then sensual enjoyment limitation wo. Okay. Bhog upbhog. One time consumption is bhog and repeated consumption is upbhog. Okay. So rasgulla would be a bhog and mobile phone would be a upbhog. So you limit your screen time because exposure to this mobile screen time are bringing in a lot of side effects. Okay. Doctors and psychologists are discussing every now and then again to limit your screen time. Okay. And particularly the kids. Okay. Then selfless offering to unexpected guests. Atithi samvibhag vrat. You know. So usually the householder stands outside their house and they see if any monk is coming to their place for food. Okay. And if he sees one, he invites them with due respect, Nauda Bhakti Purvak. Okay. And then the monks come to those places which have not purposely prepared for them. Okay. So generally the Shravaks prepare, usually earlier there was a joint family. So there were 20, 30, 40 members staying in a family. So even if one or two monks come, it doesn't make a difference. Okay. So everyone contributes little bit from their share and give to the monk. So this is called Atithi Samvibhag Vrat. So it could be done to a monk ideally. The second option is Vrati Shravak, votary, and the third is Avrati Shravak, non-votary householder. Okay. So good, better, best. So best is monk, then better is the Vrati Shravak, and if you don't get that also, then Vrati Shravak, Avrati Shravak. So anything could be fourth stage, fifth stage, and sixth, seventh stage. Okay. So this is the okay. Now we will read the explanation. Before that, Madhuji, your question.
नहीं क्लियर हो गया सर एक्चुअली आई वाज सेइंग कि हाउ कैन वी लिमिट आवर ज्योग्राफिक लिमिटेशन एज
Yes.
नाउ
So you
आई
have to
गॉट इट
define
सर
the place. You have to define the
यस
place, and before indulging into any of this conduct, first you should manifest the right belief, because
हाँ
with right belief and right knowledge, all this conduct is fruitful. And without right belief and right knowledge, it's just a ritual. Okay. And this ritual we have done earlier many times. So as I said, don't jump into the rituals first. First manifest right belief, and then right
राइट
knowledge will automatically follow. And with this practice of science of discrimination, your levels of passions will go down, and once the passion levels goes down, automatically you have this tendency to take vows. Okay, it
या
automatically
यस
comes. So let
राइट
it come automatically, and don't jump into the ritual. Then again it will become a cause of distractions for you. So whatever time you have, you want to take vows, you take vows of study. I will study today 6 hours. I will study today 8 hours. I will study today 12 hours. This kind of vows you can take right now. And with this study, your strength will build up. You will develop the right belief, the right knowledge, and then automatically the right conduct will follow. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this should be the
Yes, sir.
process.
What is this ascetic hood exposure woe?
Uh, uh, ascetic hood. Proshodupvas. This is the fasting. Three levels of fasting that I said. So during Ashtami and Chatusi, a householder always observe a fast. Now this could be done in 3 ways, and that you refer to the chapter 6 of Pitrag Vigyan
Yeah, yeah.
3.
But the English meaning does not show that it means fast. Ascetic hood exposure means something else.
So like, yeah, the word used here is not appropriate, but in the,
समझ में आता है.
yeah. So in actually it is a fasting, prosad upvas. It is a fasting, but fasting of that nature that you go in a religious place and stay the whole day there, you know. So prosad upvas is like that. So you become a monk for a day. It's like that. Okay. So
So it is
that's
posa,
why.
ना sir?
Huh?
पोसा बोलते हैं ना
हाँ,
इसको?
posa, right.
ठीक
So,
है.
so that's why it is mentioned here ascetic hood exposure woe, but somewhere they have to use the word fasting. Okay. So it could be like that, ascetic hood exposure woe of fasting, woe of fasting. So then it makes sense. Okay, but in the 6th chapter, this is Creed Bhai has done the translation. So, but there we have used the right words. You can see from there. Okay. So now, who was reading this?
I was reading, sir, Madhu.
So you read the explanation.
One should aim for right conduct after obtaining right knowledge. This right conduct is of two types: partial conduct observed by householders, and two, complete conduct observed by the enlightened ascetics. In this fourth chapter, there is a description of the partial conduct of the householders. The nature of the complete conduct will be described in chapter number 6. One, one refrains from the violence towards the mobile living beings, 2 to 5 sense living beings, and also does not purposefully destroy the non-mobile, stationary, one-sensed living beings. This is the nature of the partial vow of non-violence, that is, ahimsa anuvrat. One also does not speak words that lead to the killing of others. Even though it could be true, one does not speak or encourage someone to say harsh and derogatory words. This is known as the partial vow of truthfulness, that is, Satya Anuvrat.
So I think we will refer to the chapter in Vitrag Vigyan 3, chapter 6 once again. So this was explained there, so I'm not repeating it. Let's move on to the stanza number 11. I am reading only because we have 20 minutes left and I want to complete this fourth one today. So I'm reading myself. Description about the non-stealing. Okay, so 5 woes we have discussed about non-violence and the truthfulness. That these two we have discussed. The other 3 is coming up here in this paragraph. Non-stealing, celibacy and non-possessiveness, and then the supporting woes. Okay. जल मृति का बिन और नहीं कछु ग्रहे अदत्ता निज वनिता बिन सकल नारी सो रहे विरक्ता अपनी शक्ति प्रमाण परिग्रह थोरो राखे 10 दिस गमन प्रमाण गनि तसु सीमन नाखे. So this is about the geographic limitations of householders. You can see the 10 direction, upper, lower, okay, and then 4 direction, north, east, west, south, and then the diagonally opposite. This is the 10 directions. Okay. The nature of the non-stealing partial woe of the householder is as follows. Water and dirt are accessible to everyone. Therefore, the householder uses them. The householder does not use anything else unless he has the permission of the owner to use them. Okay. The nature of the partial vow of celibacy, brahmacharya anuvrat, states that householder will not have any sexual relationship with anyone except his or her spouse. He will consider everyone as his mother, sister, or daughter except his own spouse. And likewise, she will consider everyone as her father, brother, or son except for her married spouse. The householder also keeps in mind his own capacity and needs and keeps a control on his desires for alien substances throughout his life. This is the nature of the partial vow of non-possessiveness. Okay. So at a certain level, householder requires some wealth with him to sustain his lifestyle. But beyond that is all something that we should renounce. The householder also keeps restrictions of mobility in all 10 directions throughout his life, and that is known as the supporting vow of the geographic limitation of the householder, Digvrat. Now, the 13th one. Supporting vow, purposeless violence limitation vow. Continue. So, first would be the 12th one, okay. Supporting vow, day-to-day additional limitation vow, and then purposeless violence limitation vow. So both these stanzas 12 and 13 are related to this. ताहू में फिरी ग्राम गली ग्रह बाग बजारा गमन प्रमाण ठानी अनि सकल निवारा काहू के धन हानि किसी जय हार न चीते देय न सो उपदेश हो य अग वनिज कृषि ते. In the supporting vow of restrictions of mobility throughout the life, the householder also takes the vow of further restriction of his day-to-day further mobility, such as remaining at home, not going out to certain streets, towns, markets, etc. for a certain limited time. So all this will lead us more time for our meditation. Okay. Someone says, come to this. So no, I have taken a vow, so I cannot go out. So he will also not force you. So these are some of the things that a householder undergoes because her passions have got milder and further milder. Okay. So this is an outcome of that, and not we want to straightway jump into any ritual. Okay. This will automatically come. In this vow, concern beyond the limited area is eliminated. So now you are least concerned what is happening anywhere else. This is known as day-to-day additional limitation vow. Description of the purposeless violence limitation vow. Very interesting at our level. Anarth Dand Vrat. The purposeless violence limitation vow can be divided into 5 parts, of which the first 2 are described in this stanza and the next 3 in the following stanza. The first one, evil thinking purposeless violation limitation vow, up dhyan anardhan tyag. One should not indulge in the thoughts of someone else's loss of wealth or someone else's defeat or victory. Okay, because it does not matter me unnecessary waste of time. Then the second, one should not give advice of such trade or agriculture in which there is violence involved. This is known as evil instruction, purposeless violence limitation vow. Okay, Pap Updes. So you should not preach somebody to dig mud or use water, unnecessary water, use this shower, this is very nice. So when you use shower for bathing, how many buckets of water you use? No limit.
6.
Right? But if you put water in a bucket and then you put a heating rod, then only in one bucket full of water you can finish your bathing. Okay. So these are some of the things that we can practice. Now the next stanza, the other three. Supporting wo, purposeless violation, limited wo, continue. So other three is coming up. करी प्रमाद जल भूमि वृक्ष पावक न विरादे असी धनु हल हिंसा हिंसोपकरण नहीं दे जस लादे राग द्वेष करतार कथा कबू ना सुनिजे. Never listen to any stories which propagates attachments and aversion. और अनर्थ दंड हेत अगति ने ना कीजे. Third one should prevent careless wasting of water, digging of land, cutting of trees, and lighting fire. This is known as careless dealings of purposeless violence, limitation, woe. So the example that I gave of bath is applicable here. In this woe, one prevent the careless violence towards the one sense living beings. One should refrain from giving weapons which cause harm, such as sword, arrows, knife. So all these examples is here. This is known as the gift of weapons of offense, of purposeless violence, limitation, woe. Fifth one should refrain from useless gossip, vikatha. Okay, so these vikatha are of four kinds. You know, stri katha, bhojan katha, then rajya katha, politics, and the last one is chor katha, about theft, fraud. If you open the newspaper, there are so many cyber frauds happening. Okay, so one should be aware of those things, but further discussion and arguments about that, wasting time after that, is not advisable. So useless gossip, reading novels, and literature promoting erotic feelings as they produce an infatuated state. This is known as evil hearing of purposeless violence, limitation, woe. Okay. So one who is into stock market, they discuss on this, you know, and if they get a friend, they keep on discussing. So all these, the examples given here are during ancient times. So the present time, you can just relate where you are indulging in such kind of discussions, and you can avoid those at best. There are also other types of purposeless violence acts. Apart from these five, the author is saying that there are other types of purposeless violent acts which produce scenes. One should refrain from committing such activities. Now the four Siksha Vrat, the trainee vows. Okay. धरि उर समता भाव सदा सामायिक करिए पर्व चतुष्टय माहि पाप तजि प्रोषद धरिए भोग और उपभोग नियम धरि ममत निवारे. Remove attachment to those. मुनि को भोजन दे फेरी निज करे आहारे. So I think I've discussed all this while from the chart itself, but still we would read the explanation. Trainees vows, 4 Siksha Vrat. By engrossing in oneself and by stabilizing one's thoughts, one practices meditation with equanimity daily. So a householder have this vow of equanimity where it performs samayik 3 times a day, morning, noon, and evening. Okay, 48 minutes 3 times a day. So this is a practice of meditation only. Okay, so this is the Sravak in the 5th stage of spiritual development. Okay, so if you want to do this without manifesting right belief, then it will not serve the purpose. But having said that, you can always practice. Even it, on a daily basis, you can have a practice of not 48 minutes, but you can say at least I will manifest, I will do meditation for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So at least it will help you in stabilizing your mind and thoughts. Nowadays, it is a part of yoga. Meditation is a part of yoga. So if you go to wellness retreat, they will recommend this meditation to you. Second, every 8th and 14th day of the lunar month, Ashtami and Chaturdashi, 15-day cycle, one gives up his passions and business activity. Instead, he fasts and meditates in a solitary place like an ascetic. This is known as the ascetichood exposure vo, Proshadupva Siksha Vrat. Okay. So he is not only meditating, but he is also observing fast. Okay. So the good explanation would be you will get from the 6th chapter of Vitrayag Vigyan 3. You must refer. The third one restrict desires for certain pleasure objects either for life or a definite period of time is known as sensual enjoyment limitation wo. Bhog, Ubhog, Pariman, Vrat. The fourth one, Atiti Samvibhag Vrat. We have already discussed, but again we will read. One who was to eat only after offering it to worthy souls, such as ascetics, is known as the selfless offering to the unexpected guest. Wo. So it is not only ascetics. Ascetics is the best. The second best is the votary, Vrati Shravak, and the third best is the Avrati Shravak, right believer in the 4th stage. Okay. So this is all given in the 6th chapter of Vitrag Vigyan 3. Now, the benefits of observing these 12 woes. What is the benefit? बारह व्रत के अतिचार पन पन न लगावे मरण समय संन्यास धारित सुदोष न सावे यो श्रावक व्रत पाली स्वर्ग सोलम उपजावे तहते चय नर जन्म पाय मुनि है शिव पावे 12 व्रत के अतिचार. What is this अतिचार? Atichar is transgression. Okay. Kiritbhai has used some different word. Let me see. Violations. Okay. So all these 12 woes have 5 kinds of violations mentioned. Okay. So even if you are indulging in those violations, still you are not breaking the woes. But if you do it repeatedly, that means you are breaking the woes. Okay. So you should observe these 12 woes with following this 5 transgressions. Okay. Pan pan na lagave. Pan pan means 5 each. Okay. So each woes have these 5 exceptions. Okay. And that we should follow. Na lagavi, keeps off. You should keep off. And then at the time of death, maran samay sannyas dhari. Okay. Sannyas dhari means you should have a peaceful death. You can have a peaceful death by renouncing gradually the foods and renouncing the passions. That is important. Okay. So this peaceful death is not the suicide. Okay. This is gradually you are reducing the passions. Suicide is committed with intense passion. When you are not able to manage the passions, people commit suicide. So this is not suicide. This is you are gradually crushing the passions. Okay. And you are gradually renouncing the foods. And then you can have a peaceful death. And this is only done when there is no chance of survival. Okay, you have got a terminally ill disease. When the death is inevitable, then only you can take this samadhi. This is called salekna or samadhi maran. Okay. Yo shravak vrat pali swarg solam upjave. A householder who observes these 12 woes without indulging in violations, they end up getting birth up to 16th heaven. Okay. They cannot go beyond 16th heaven. Okay. Up to 16th heaven, a householder can take a birth if he is observing these 12 vows very diligently. And from there, he will finish that life of heavenly being and again get a human life and become a monk and get liberated. This is the fruits of observing the 12 vows. The religious householder observes these 12 vows, avoiding 5 violations. So these violations is atichar, transgression. Okay. So you should avoid these 5 violations of each vow throughout his life. Okay. At the time of death, he also seeks ritualized voluntary renunciation of the body. So this is called the peaceful death, Lec14. Ritualized, okay, voluntary renunciation of the body, avoiding its 5 violations. So this 12 vows has got 5 violations. Then the right belief has got 5 violations, and this Lec14 has also got 5 violations. So you should avoid these 5 violations. You should observe vows in such a manner that you avoid these 5 violations. These violations are mentioned because even if you indulge in this violation, your vows are not still broken. You are still observing the vows. But they have mentioned these violations that this could happen. After death, this householder will take birth into the 16th abode of the celestial heavenly life. So it is compulsory, the 16th one, if you are observing these 12 vows. On completing that life, he will reborn as a human being, reincarnate as a human being, and will accept ascetichood leading to salvation. At the stage of right conduct, the pure dispositions, Shuddh Bhav of the soul leads to the stoppage and shedding of karma. Whatever minor delusions are present are the reasons of him taking birth in the celestial life. Okay. So whatever the minor delusions are conduct, so this deluding karmas are of 2 types. One is faith deluding karma and conduct deluding karma. So whatever minor conduct deluding karmas are present are the reasons of him taking birth in the celestial heavenly life. So this is the end of the 4th dal, and I have taken 5 minutes extra, but nevertheless we have completed this. So next will be 5th dal, 12 contemplations. So 12 contemplations we have already read at 2 places, one in Vitrag Vigyan, I think 2, and somewhere in Tattva Gyan also. Okay. So, but again we will repeating, and then we have a complete paper coming up on 12 reflections, paper 3. So paper 3 is 12 reflections and Dravya Sangra. So one homework I am giving you, I will ask you 3 questions on Viva. And these 3 questions will be based from Chhe Dala. So first 2 dal, 1 question, 3 and 4th dal, 1 question, and 5th and 6th dal, 1 question. Okay. So you prepare this 4 dals. I have already completed. You keep revising it and be prepared, and I will ask you any question. Okay. And you can still refer to the book and answer, but we will do it this live 1-to-1. Okay. So you should prepare it, because at least you should know which answer is where. So you have to read it 2-3 times. And I will also be sharing you audio recording of Chadala. So you can also listen to that. Of course, it will be in Hindi, but if you want to listen, you can listen to that. And then I am sharing that Moksha Marg Prakasik, the process of self-realization also, that clip also. Although you have the books with you. So even if I mention the page number, you will be able to do that. And one more thing, that tomorrow we have an extra class for that person, Mr. Suresh Shah. So mostly we are taking up questions. So if time permitting, I can take discussion on self-realization. Okay. If any one of you are interested, you can attend it tomorrow at 3 o'clock India time, and same link. If you have any other question also, you can join that time and you can ask. Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है। उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है। उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार।